You know that feeling when it seems like there's something new happening every single day? That's exactly where things are right now. There are a lot of interesting updates coming out, some big questions starting to get answered, and honestly, there's plenty to be excited about. So stick around because we're breaking down everything that's been happening and why it could be a bigger deal than it looks. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and let me know down in the comments. Go Hawks! I want to see how many real Seahawks fans are watching today. The latest developments coming out of Seattle are creating a level of optimism that has been difficult to ignore. And one of the biggest reasons for that is what has been happening on the practice field. The conversation surrounding the Seahawks has shifted toward progress, competition, and visible improvement, especially after Brian Fleury spoke with the media following practice. His comments offered one of the clearest pictures yet of where this football team currently stands, and perhaps more importantly, where he believes it can still improve. Rather than presenting an overly confident outlook, his message balanced encouragement with accountability, making it clear that the coaching staff is pleased with the direction of the offense, but far from satisfied with the final result. One of the strongest impressions from the early stages of training camp is how the offense has managed to respond against an extremely challenging defense. Reports from camp continue to point toward an offense that is using far more motion, shifts, and movement before the snap, creating opportunities that have allowed the unit to find success even while facing a defense that constantly applies pressure. That is not something that always happens this early in camp. Traditionally, defensive units tend to be ahead because they rely more on reaction than execution, while offenses usually require additional time for timing, communication, and chemistry to fully develop. Yet the Seahawks offense has shown signs of adapting faster than many expected. According to Brian Fleury, one of the biggest advantages for this group is the quality of competition they face every single day in practice. He explained that the variety of pressure packages, the movement before the snap, and the physical style presented by the defense actually make practices more difficult than many regular season games will become. From his perspective, that challenge forces everyone involved to speed up their thinking and execution. When game week eventually arrives and the opponent presents a narrower set of tendencies compared to what Seattle's own defense throws at them daily, the game itself may actually feel slower for the offensive players. That perspective says a lot about how this coaching staff is approaching development. Instead of trying to simplify every situation during camp, they are embracing the difficulty. Every blitz, every disguise, every adjustment becomes another opportunity for the offense to learn. Mistakes are expected at this point in the calendar, and Fleury made it clear that now is the right time for them to happen. Whether it is a poor throw from the quarterback or a play call that does not produce the desired result, training camp exists to expose weaknesses before the regular season begins. The emphasis is not on avoiding failure but on learning from it quickly enough that the same mistake does not appear later when the games truly matter. That philosophy appears to be carrying over into the running game as well. The Seahawks continue working through significant changes at running back, and the coaching staff is evaluating multiple players as they prepare for larger responsibilities. The room has generated considerable discussion throughout camp, with several names consistently receiving positive attention. Jadarian Price has produced encouraging flashes that have fueled excitement, while George Holani continues earning praise for his ability as a receiver out of the backfield and for his effectiveness in pass protection. Emmanuel Wilson has also demonstrated encouraging moments that could allow him to contribute in specialized situations. Even with those positive reports, Brian Fleury refused to suggest that everything is already where it needs to be. His comments revealed a coach who evaluates the details before the results. Rather than focusing only on whether a particular running play gains positive yardage, he is studying player alignment, blocking technique, assignment discipline, and overall execution. He acknowledged that progress is taking place, but he also emphasized that the running game has not yet reached the standard he expects. In his view, that portion of the offense should eventually become one of the team's most dependable strengths. And while it is moving in the proper direction, it simply has not arrived there yet. That mindset may ultimately become one of the defining characteristics of this coaching staff. Success during practice is not enough if the fundamentals behind that success are inconsistent. A long gain may look impressive, but if it happened while someone missed an assignment or executed incorrect technique, the staff treats that as a problem that still requires correction. It is a philosophy built around preventing future mistakes instead of celebrating fortunate outcomes. By emphasizing consistency over isolated highlights, the Seahawks hope to build an offense capable of sustaining success instead of relying on occasional explosive plays. The atmosphere surrounding practice also reflects that approach to accountability. Instead of emotional outbursts or constant yelling, corrections are reportedly handled through direct conversations that reinforce expectations. Players are reminded that they are capable of performing better, rather than simply being criticized for mistakes. That creates an environment where accountability remains high without losing focus on development. Coaches continue demanding improvement while reinforcing the standards expected from every player on the roster. Another major factor influencing the running game will be the offensive line. Continuity up front has become an important storyline because much of that group returns together while also adding additional talent. Rather than placing unrealistic expectations on individual running backs, there is recognition that the offensive line will largely determine how quickly the ground attack reaches its potential. Strong blocking, proper communication, and consistent execution could accelerate the development of every back competing for carries throughout camp. The conversations surrounding the offense become even more encouraging when viewed alongside the reports describing the defensive pressure being applied every day. Rather than allowing the offense to become comfortable, the defense continues presenting complicated looks that require quick decisions and constant adaptation. Every successful offensive series against that level of competition carries additional value because it demonstrates growth under difficult circumstances instead of against simplified practice situations. Perhaps the most encouraging element of Brian Fleury's media session was not any specific quote, but the overall tone he established. He consistently acknowledged progress while immediately identifying areas requiring improvement. There was no indication that the staff believes the offense has already arrived. Instead, there is confidence that the foundation is being built correctly, while maintaining the urgency necessary to keep pushing forward throughout camp. That balance between optimism and accountability may prove critical as competition continues to intensify over the coming practices. As training camp moves forward, every practice becomes another opportunity for players to separate themselves while the coaching staff continues refining both the offensive identity and the standards expected throughout the roster. Early success has generated excitement, but inside the building, the focus appears to remain firmly on correcting details before celebrating accomplishments. If that approach continues producing visible progress, the optimism surrounding Seattle's offense may become even stronger over the next several weeks. Based on everything that has been said so far, do you believe Brian Fleury's demanding approach is exactly what this offense needs to reach its full potential this season? Before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest Seattle Seahawks news. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this update, because it really helps the channel grow and lets us keep bringing you the fastest Seahawks coverage possible. And don't leave just yet. Click the video that's on your screen right now because that's where you'll find another important Seahawks update you won't want to miss. If you want all the latest Seahawks news first, this is the place to be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.